Why did she even look at me like that? I don't get it. I wish I knew how to talk to girls like Perrin does.
Man, women are so confusing. I wish I understood how to talk to them like Rand does. Hey there, Nomads of Lore. I'm Sean.
And I'm Jonathan.
And together we are Mead and Mischief, your home away from no home.
That's right.
So we have already done a reaction video. You can check out the link in the iCard for our kind of raw thoughts to the Wine Spring Inn clip that we are super excited about. We thought we would take some time and do a breakdown video and kind of explain what's going on for you newbies, and maybe point out some things that some of you oldies but goodies
didn't notice,
or maybe not, and we can just enjoy this together. So let's dive.
Yeah, we're gonna try to do the spoiler free, just so you know.
Yes.
We're not gonna we're trying not to spoil anything in the future. There are a few little glimpses into the future in this,
right?
But,
just like Robert Jordan foreshadows thing. There might be some subtle foreshadowing, but we're gonna spoiler free it.
Okay.
Let's dump in.
Dump right in. So we got this opening scene with Emmonsfield within the Two Rivers. So Emmonsfield being the city that or town that Rand and everyone is from, and the Two Rivers kind of being what you see around that area. All the beautiful waterfall falling down in the back, and the mountains, and all the gorgeous green. Is that a word? And we've got a storm on winter's night, and gorgeous.
So then we go inside to the Wine Spring Inn. We've got a happy scene reminiscent of Prancing Pony and Lord of the Rings. We got these people sitting and toasting each other and making merry. We see Egwene Alvear, who is played by Madeline Madden. She's serving drinks, which is apropos since her father, who's also the mayor of the village, of course, is also the owner of this inn. We see here, we've got Perrin sitting in the foreground with Rand. Of course, the focus is on Rand in the background, but we see Perrin, who is played by Marcus Rutherford. One of the interesting things there is sitting with him is Tam Althor, who is, of course, Rand's father, who is played by Michael McLattin.
So in this next part, we got Randolphthorpe, played by Joshua Stradowski, and Egwene, and they exchange looks. Rand's got a very nervous look. He's quite nervous for some reason, and then Egwene looks very upset. This nervous look, this exchange could be because of a couple different things. Could be because of their relationship status, what's going on between the two of them, or it could be because of Egwene's ceremony that she just went through.
So next, Rand and Perrin exchange a few words. The first great thing about this is we get to see Perrin being a good friend to Rand and checking up on him and seeing how things are going. And then we see a look of confusion on Rand's face. And probably because he doesn't understand women and doesn't know what, he's probably thinking, man, I wish that I was more like Perrin or Matt or whoever or whatever else. All of those things. The ceremony that they're talking about there is almost certainly referring to Egwene's induction into the women's circle. Because the women's circle is kind of the matriarchal behind the scenes ruling body of Emmonsfield, kind of the neck that turns the head, so to speak.
So next is where this scene really starts to get interesting. We've got some ominous boots walking in, maybe the man in black from a Western or the Nazgul walking in, and it's very dark, and the whole scene goes from being this happy, fun, everybody's cheering and whatever, everything goes silent. And we've got this ominous person walking in, and we start to feel for those people in the scene. Like, are they okay? Is everything going to be okay? We got worry and concern going on across everyone. Rand and Perrin both lean forward, trying to figure out what's going on. And Lan has this pose about him that is definitely echoed through the books many times, that he's always ready for what's coming. No matter what's about to come, he seems like he's a step ahead. He's always standing there in a stance that he's ready for anything to come around the corner. And that's how he's standing there.
And of course, is the moment of introduction of Nynaeve, at least in this clip, of her jumping up and ready ready to take on this dude who's bigger than her, who's scarier than her. Well, maybe, I don't know. She can be kind of scary in moments, but she jumps up, and it's really a fun thing and really telling that she jumps up and she's got her hand on the knife. She's ready to take on this fearsome stranger, who clearly is ready for battle. He's got a sword on his back. She's brought a knife to a sword fight, not a gun fight, but same idea. But and she's going to challenge him in action and in word as well. Super fun moment.
So next we see this stranger reveal himself as Landman, played by Daniel Henney. He takes his hood off and he says his name, and then he says Moraine's name. He kind of smiles just a little bit, a little smirk, and there's just this chill that you get from both his name and from hers. And he's got this face on whenever he says her name that's just kind of like, for Lan, it's a big smile on his face, a big smirking smile, but it's very subtle. And he's just kind of sitting there saying, yeah, you don't know her yet, but you're about to, kind of thing. So then next we have Moraine walking in and taking her hood off, and it's super hard not to be excited about this scene.
Then we have Moraine walking past nonchalantly and rather dismissively of Nynaeve. And Nynaeve looking still ready to take her on and looking quite peeved as Moraine walks through. There's a couple of things that are going on. One is Moraine's walking posture and the way she walks with her arms wide open. She feels larger than life, larger than she is, kind of taking up that space in the room. Also, this moment of Nynaeve and Moraine then walking through it foreshadows their relationship that's about to form, and their cold distrust in the early parts of this book. We get to kind of meet Maren Alvear, who's the owner of the Wine Spring Inn, or co-owner, I guess. Who knows? I don't know. Well, probably considered to be the owner, kind of the Wine Spring Inn. And she's also the mother of Egwene and the wife of the mayor of the village. And so she greets Moraine at this point and says, "Can we help you?" And whatever else. And Moraine, subtly or not so subtly, kind of plays with her hair and flashes her serpent ring. Now we get our closest look of the serpent ring we've had so far. We've seen the serpent rings in other things before, but this is definitely the closest image we've gotten of it. It's very different than I think probably most of us pictured the serpent ring. Definitely different than Jonathan and I pictured it. And one of the things that's particularly different is this blue gem, I guess, very rounded looking thing. It's almost,
Dragon Ball.
Yeah, exactly. The little blue Dragon Ball in there. It's almost certainly representative of the blue Aja, which, of course we'll learn, if we're spoiler free at this point, even though it's not a big spoiler. That's the Aja that Moraine, of course, is a part of. And it seems like they're pushing the Aja colors more heavily than they do in the books, which we'll see what that looks like as we progress.
So after Moraine flashes her ring and Maren says Moraine Sedai, and that reveal happens, there's a pretty big reaction in the room. Of course, Maren's reaction, the look on her face is she's a little bit panicked, and maybe there's some reverence there, maybe a little fear. People in the bar or in the inn that are talking to each other, and they're all whispering and trying to figure out, because as we find out in the books, most of these people have never seen. They've heard stories of Aes Sedai, but most of them haven't even seen Aes Sedai. So as these locals are whispering and Moraine walks up to the fire, she opens her hands, and it's kind of cool. We both thought about maybe represents her channeling. It's very, very foreshadowing of her channeling, and kind of gives you the feeling that she doesn't really care what people think around her. She's there. That's what she's doing, before she subtly turns back around and the scene continues.
Then, of course, Moraine begins to look around the room, and we get a subtle or not so subtle hint at what she's doing there. We see her look in turn, and very pointedly, and we see the camera focusing on certain characters. We see her focus on Matt Cawthon, played by Barney Harris, and who is standing there with a character named Danya, who we don't really know who that is. But if she's standing next to Matt, she's probably a love interest or something, because he was attracted to it and trying to flirt with everything that had 2 legs and a skirt for a very long time.
It's true.
And so she walks, so she sees Matt there with Danya standing there. And then she looks past Lan to see Nynaeve still standing there with her hand on her dagger and watching these newcomers. And then she turns around and she sees Egwene again, maybe subtle, sensing some things there. Then of course she looks past Egwene to see Rand and Perrin. So she's zeroing in on these 3 boys, these 3 friends, and making note of Nynaeve and Egwene.
So then as the scene comes to a close, Maren asks Moraine to come with her, obviously to show her to her room. And we see Moraine walking through the room, walking out as things are starting to maybe kind of go back to normal in the room. Tam Althor is sitting there, and he has this look of dread as Moraine, Madrid, no pun intended, walks past with Maren. And then, of course, the very last thing we see is Nynaeve still holding the dagger and being very suspicious of the newcomers.
Well, what did we miss? What else did you see? What things are you excited about in this clip and everything else? We are every new piece of Wheel of Time content that's come out so far has gotten us more excited. We hope that you are feeling the same way. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate all the support that y'all have given us. We are well on our way to reaching our goal of 500 subscribers by March. And thank you. And make sure you hit the like, subscribe, ring the bell, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Upsetness. This nervous look. Okay.
He's played by Michael
McElhatton.
McElhatton. It's got to go in the bloopers.